Aloha, Richard Halverson here. This is ITS128. Today is November 3rd. And if I share my screen, we can see that we should be around here. Listen, no, we're going to do these lab activities in chapter 7. So let's go to chapter 7. And first of all, let's do this. Let's set up the Replit thing. Okay, so I need to go to Replit. And Ben, you can help me out here if I don't do something. And I've logged, oh, no, this is my new account that I made. So I'm going to switch back over to my other account that I have that's connected to you guys. So I guess I have to log out of this somehow, log out. See, I created a second account to test. And so now I got to log into my other, this, yeah. And go to Teams and go to 128 Teams. And I will create a team rep. And okay, so let's do that. And then I'm pretty sure that you can share the URL and other people, anybody in the public can go in and look at it and they can write your code.
I did that, yeah.
But but you can't develop code with somebody else. And that's what's cool about the teams. They can have 10 people over there, modifying parts of the code. So
by the way, I checked and you are right, because the pandemic, they changed from 10 people in a group, they changed to 50 people in a group. Oh. So our class have plenty room to get in. Yes.
Oh, good. Okay, good. Yeah, if they limit the, I can buy one as a teacher for $350, which I can just pay for myself. But it limits it to 30 students, and that's just not quite enough. It should be 50. It's not 30's not, and I'm not, so it's like I'm stuck. I'm not going to buy it.
I know, but we get 50 for free.
Yeah, now 50 for free. So we'll just take advantage of this right now.
Yes. Thank you.
Okay, so let's start with what's the first one? Should we do this? Did we do the lab? Did we do this one?
Yeah, we didn't do any lab yet.
Okay, good. That's right. So let's start this out. Forms often allow a user to enter integer, string, or outputs. Yes, if it's okay. So we're going to test an input to make sure that it's all digits, right? And so that would be this is digit thing, right? Is digits. Let's see, where's string methods? And it is going to be this is not that one. This one is digit of all characters on it. Okay, so that's the one we're going to use. Let's go to here and let's start a 7.5. I do right here, right? This one.
Yes.
Okay. This one, and I'll do 7.5 checker for integer. And it's public. All right, so now let's go to see what they give. Okay, so you got this, it's outputs yes, you output this, it outputs no, because it's got a comma there. And we're gonna have some code here, and that's all it is. So I'm just gonna copy this. And I'm gonna go to here and paste them. And then I'm gonna say, you're supposed to, input looks like this and output looks like that. Okay, so, here's the input string. Okay, so input looks like that. And I'm going to say if I guess I don't need to convert it. No, we wouldn't convert it to an integer because we don't even know if it's an integer yet. So if user underscore string, and then I'm going to use that isNum thing dot isDigit is. I wonder if it's going to help me here. Look at that. IsDigit. That's the one I want. And this is going to be true or false. So if this is true, then you want to print yes. Otherwise, print no, I believe. Lowercase. Yes and no. Well, this is too easy. So let's enter something. And I'm going to say, yes, it's an integer. And I'm just going to say, no, it not, I'm not doing it right, not an integer. Okay, now you wouldn't do that when you submit here, but I want to do that because I want to see what I'm doing. And so let's run this thing and enter something. 1995. Yes, it's an integer. Let's run it again. 1,995. No, it's not an integer. Well, I think it probably works. Now let's see. I'm going to copy this, and I'm going to open up a browser that should not be connected to anything like this one here. This browser, my Opera browser, and I'm going to paste it in there, and I'm going to hit enter and see what happens. Oh, look. Log in, sign up. I can just, run this? Why isn't it running? Oh, enter something. Right. Yeah, okay, so that's pretty cool. And what else can I do? Oh, I can show the files. I can show the code. Okay. And you're not even logged in. So, okay, very good. So, I think what I can do is when I post the video, in that there's a place down below where you can describe the video. I can put these URLs in there. Maybe that might help. They can't modify it; they can just look at it. All right. So let's keep that in mind. Okay, so let's go to the next one. How many documents use a specific format for a person's name? Write a program whose input is that and whose output is that. Okay. So if it's, it's got periods there too. Oh, okay. Okay, so that's what it does. And if you don't put a middle name, then it just does that without the middle name. And you have to input and then output. Okay, seems pretty easy. So this one, I'm going to copy this, copy, and I'm going to go over here And I'm going to go, where do I go here?
Go to the team one on the left. Yes.
Just go back to get in the way. Yeah, go
Yes.
back. Okay, yes, that's better. That way I don't end up someplace else. And, okay, here we go. Do another one. And right here, I'm going to put that. And I'm going to create it. And here we are. And let's see, why don't I just put some comments? I must have put this here. Type your code here. Well, whatever. So I'm going to go. Ask user for first name, middle name, and last name, and program. What's going on? Program will output last name, comma, first initial, period, that middle initial. Middle name is optional. Okay, so let's ask let's ask the user for their full name. Full name equals input. Enter your full name. Okay, and we're gonna assume we could jazz it up a little bit and have them be able to enter as many middle names as they want, because some people have more than one middle name. My daughter does. A lot of people do. But anyway, let's just do this for now. And so enter your full name. Okay. All right, enter your full name. And then we're going to split the full name into, we're going to split on space, on empty space. So we're going to split it up into a list of names. So I'm going to go names equals a full name split, okay? And then I'm going to say, see, it's the last name. I got to take the last name, put that first. So I'm going to say output name. I'll call it that. Starts out by equaling names of the len of names. I'm not going to be fancy. I'm going to take advantage. I'm going to say num names equals the length. Yeah, the length of the list, the length of names. So that's how many names there are in this list of names. And then I'm going to say if, well, no, in fact, and some people only have one name. So we'll account for that too. Madonna. Well, we'll consider that. Okay, so outputs. Okay, so output name is going to have the name that we're going to output, and so I'm going to start out by setting it equal to the topmost name, which is num names. I'm going to call this num names. The number of names -1, because the index of the last element of an array is the size of the array -1. Because you start counting at 0. So this is going to be the last, this is the last name. In fact, I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to say, I'm going to make this even easier, and I'm going to say last name. This is the last name. And then I'm going to say the output name okay, wait a minute. So what's a good way to do this? Yeah, I'll just do this. Output name equals, we'll start out by making output name equal last name. See, I'm trying to put a lot of intermediate variables in here. So when we do the you know, the debugger thing, when we step through the program, we could see the variables change values one step at a time. Okay, so output name starts out by equaling that, and then I'm going to do. See what this is supposed to look like. So, comma, okay, so comma space, and then the first initial of the first name. So I'm going to do this. If num names is greater than 1, you know, I don't test for the case where it's equal to 0, where the person doesn't type anything in. So I don't probably don't have to consider that, but you may. Okay, so if num names is greater than 1, then we're going to start tacking on the initials of the remaining names. If num names is equal to 1, we're just going to leave it. So if num names is greater than 1, then I'm going to do for and this is going to be an index. No. I'm going to do for name in names. So we're going to start with the first name. For name and names. If num names is greater than 1, then I'm going to have to say output name, add on to output name a space, and a comma and a space, right? Comma and a space. We're talking about this, a comma and a space. So we want to tack that on. And you know, I'll tell you what, I'm going to do this just so people know. I'm going to do this goes to this. And okay, so that's good enough. So for name in names, output name plus equals the first initial of the name, which is going to be it's going to be name of 0. That's the first, because name is a string, names is a list. So name is a string. So you can reference the first character of the string this way. And I want a capital letter. So just in case they got that lowercase thing, they don't know how to press the shift key with their little finger. So I gotta capitalize it. So how do I do that? Upper. How do I do methods? String methods. Is it just like upper, or is it upper? It's down here. Is, no, it's not an is. Capital. Oh, just upper. Oh. I'll just do that. I can just do this. Followed by a period. Okay, let's followed by a period. I think I can just do this. How's that? Followed by a period. Now, one thing though is I don't do the last name. You know, so I'm doing this, but I want to stop before I do the last name. So I got to test. So I'm just going to test for that. Well, I tell you what, I'm going to instead I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to index through from I in range of num names -1. Yes, -1. Okay, so I want to go, yeah, so I want to do the range all the way up to just before the last one. So if I were going to loop through all of the names, you know, Patty, Silly, Doe, I would just do num names, and that would be 0, 1, 2. But I want to do num names -1 because I want to skip, because I don't want to append the last name onto it. So then I go name of I. Ooh, no. Oh, I do oh, I still need to grab up. Oh, I need to name equals names. So now I have to set. I actually have to set the value. This now just gives me an index, and so this is going to give me the first name, or index number 0 of the list, and so this is going to be the first name, and so this is going to grab the first character of the first name, and so this should work. And then I think that's all I got to do. So now I'm done. I'm going to print output name. All right, let's just try this and see what it does. And enter your full name, Richard Peyton. Yeah, that's me. Yep. How about Madonna? Oops, I gotta write this again. Madonna. How do you spell Madonna? Like that. Over there. Okay. How about Joe Schmo? Okay. How about my daughter, Annalise Sue David Elvis? David is my wife's last name. Elvis, but she's not. Okay, yeah, that's it. All right, so that looks pretty cool. Now let's just it's 2:25.
I have a question.
Yes.
When we work on this, when there's a period, is that where line 18?
Yeah, that's where the period gets stuck on. Yeah.
Yeah, and then the comma is on the line 15.
That's right. That's line 15.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So let's just quickly go through this, and I'm going to set the first one here. So let's just run this until we get there. It's gonna. It didn't write on anything, did it? Oh, I need to. Didn't print out anything yet, did it? Oh, there we go. I enter my full name. I don't know. What's the president's name? Our president is named Joseph Robinette. Nice middle name, huh? Biden. That's his name. Enter.
I didn't know his middle name. Excuse me, sorry.
Yeah, nice name.
That's a nice middle name, though.
And so now let's click. Okay, so we got full name equaling that. And then so let's click, and next we got, okay, now we've got, we did this split thing. And so now we've got our three names, 0, 1, and 2 in full name. And then let's go down to here. And last name is, so we haven't, oh, now we have num names. It's got 3 elements in it. And now we're going to set last name. And lo and behold, last name is now equal to the last name. And then we're going to go to the next one. And output name is now also equal to last name. There it is. It's just, see that we just executed this. Now we're about to execute this. And it should jump, just go down to the next one. And it did. So it's true. So it's going to go output name. So we haven't executed this yet. We're about to. The output name is still equal to Biden. And then we're going to do this. And now we have stuck on the comma and we've stuck on the space. See, so there, by sticking on the comma and the space. And now we're going to loop through this. The first thing that should happen is I should be set equal to 0. Let's see if it is. Okay, there, I is equal to 0. And we're down here. And now name is going to be set equal to the 0th name. The 0th name is Joseph. So we're going to have a new variable called name, which will be equal to Joseph. There it is, name, Joseph. And now we're down here and we're gonna stick the first character of name capitalized. Oh, I didn't test that. I should have typed in lowercase letters. And the period. So let's go like this. Boom. And now output name has got the J and the period. The J. This was the J. And then this was the period. And then we're going to go to the next name, boom. And that's, then that one is now, the name is now Robinette. And then the output name, JR. And now we've hit the limit. I is only going to go to 2 because it goes, the range is 0, just 2. So this is going to skip out and we should, so this is going to do the test. The test is going to be false. So it's going to skip to this next statement. It's not going to execute the next statement yet. Here we are. And now we execute that statement and we print it out here. All right. Hope that helped. All the viewers at home. All right, let's do the next one. Counting characters. Sounds like a tough one. Oh, I should, well, I can go back and do that copy thing. All right, so let's do this one. I should leave something for you guys to do. So I'll just, I'll go down this. Well, let's take a look. I'd like to leave some for you guys to do, but let's just do this one. Well, let's take a look at it. Write a program whose input string contains a character and a phrase. Output indicates the number of times the character appears in the phrase. Okay, so what happens is you input something like this. Okay, so I guess this must be all in one line. So you enter the N and then you enter the phrase, and this is going to say, and you output how many times the character appears in the phrase. So here we have a character and here we have a phrase. And it outputs how many times the character is in the phrase. Same with this one. It's going to be 2 because there's 2 N's right here. So that's what this does. Case matters. All right. So let's okay, well, let's just start doing it, and I might stop early, and so you and have you finish it because this is, yeah, this is kind of interesting. Okay, so so we're doing this one, And I'm going to go to back to here. And, you know, people watching the video, I should just point out that you can copy this URL, and it's an easy URL because this is the same. And then after that, you have /761, which is 7.6.1. And then this lab format, and there's hyphens in between there. And then it's just hashtag main.py. You might not even need the hashtag main.py. Okay, so we're going to start a new one now. And I'm going to just...
That's how you can find the file without have to log into Replit?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but it'll be public, but yeah.
Yeah, that's good, yeah. I see, yeah.
So I'm going to go back to Teams, and I'm going to go back to this, and I'm going to make a new one, create a new team REPL, and I'm going to do this one, and I'm going to do the name that's going to be that. Desk here. Hold on, I gotta take something out of the oven. Okay, so we are gonna input something like this. Let's just do this one. Input something like this, and input this, and it outputs and it outputs two. Outputs two because n occurs in its sunny day twice. Okay, so that's what we got to do. So first we got to input a. First we have to input a the line. Okay, so input line equals. Does it tell us what they want us to name it? No, they don't. Input line equals input, enter a character followed by a phrase. And then I got to split. So it comes in, input equals input line. Now I want to split it into the character and the phrase. So character and phrase. Well, it's only one character. So that means that it's just the first character. So I'm going to say character, first character equals input line, this. So that's the first character of this input line string, okay? And what's left over is the phrase. So I'm going to say phrase equals input line. What? Can you tell me what? So we want to start at this. We want to start at this
Because
character.
n is occurs.
Yeah. So
twice.
Right. So the phrase. So, but I just want to get this whole thing. I want to get that whole thing into this variable. Okay. So I want to take just a piece. So this is the input line, and I just want to take starting at character number 2, starting at character index number 2 all the way to the end. So what I would put in here is I want to start at character 2 all the way to the end, and I don't have to put anything because, you know, this on that side of the colon, it assumes if you don't put anything, it assumes you mean all the way to the end. So this is what.
Can I ask you something? When we start with the character 2, isn't that starting from that colon? If it start out with the it's a sunny day.
Yeah.
So we're not taking the IT, because the I and the T is a 0 and the 1.
No. This.
We're starting from sunny.
Well, no. See, well, input line is this whole thing, right?
Yes.
And so, but we want to start with it. So we want to start with the I and then go all the way. So that's why the first character. Okay, so if we were to do this, it would just mean the I.
Also, it's not taking the N and the,
that's right, not
the space.
Yeah, right. So this just means, this is when you just have one integer inside the brackets, you're just talking about one character. Can I make this bigger?
Okay, I see.
Okay, so that's much better. So the first character, this is input line, and the phrase is going to be starting from input line 2, or starting from character number 2, starting from the I, and go all the way to the end. Now, going all the way to the end, I can do, well, I can put the length of input line. That's the same thing, okay? But I don't need to, because of Python's fancy feature where if I mean to go all the way to the end of the line, I don't need to do anything. I can just do it that way. So we'll see when we step through this, you'll see it. In fact, we can step through it right now. I'm going to set a breakpoint right here, and I'm going to click on the debugger, and I'm going to click on run. And here it says enter a character followed by a phrase. So let's do that. And I might as well do the one right there. N, it's a sunny, and I'm going to put 3 N's just to be stupid. Day. N. Okay, so this is the phrase. Oh, I didn't need it. Okay, enter. And now we're sitting at first character, and we see that we've got input line here. Input line equals it's our sunny day right there. And then let's step to the next one. The next one, now we're going to we're going to execute statement number 5. We're going to execute 5. Boom, we've executed 5. And now we have first character as N. So now first character is set. And now we want phrase to be all the rest of it. So let's do the next one. Boom. What happened? It's like it stopped. Does it stop? Because it's the last. It must have stopped. Phrase never got set. Did it? And it's a sunny day. Enter. And it's a sunny day. And then it's because there's no more statements after. Let's put some more statements here. Okay, so we have the phrase, and then we want to count the number. Okay, so we want to loop through the phrase we want to look at each character in the phrase. I think we can do if character in phrase. I think this will work. For each character in the phrase, if character is equal to, can I do this now? It's a character, we're testing a character and we're testing okay, we'll see this. This might not work. I might have to convert to strings or something, because character is different than a string. A character is, Python treats a single character.
It's looking for the output number 2, I think, because it's the N is counted twice.
What?
The N is counted twice in the, because it's happened twice, there's 2 N's in the input.
Yeah, so, well, oh, yes. Anyway, I'm counting how many characters are equal to this character. So I'm going to say if the character I'm looking at in the phrase is equal to the first character, then we want to increment something, some sort of count, right? Count. Can I plus, and I got to start out by setting count equal to 0 someplace. Equals 0. Okay, so so this just increments, goes all the way through to the end, and then at the very end when I'm done, print count. Okay, so we're going to start with count equal to 0, and then we're going to loop through every character of the phrase, and the phrase is this, okay, because it starts at, it's the input line, but starting at character index number 2. So this is character index number 2 all the way to the end. And so that's what the phrase is. And then we set count equal to 0, and then we loop through each character in the phrase, and we're going to see if this character is equal to this, if the character is equal to n, or whatever this is, then we increment count. Otherwise, we don't increment count. Then when we're done with all of them, we just print out count. So first, let's just see if it works. N, it's a sunny day. And it says 2. Okay, now let's do it. I've set, the breakpoint is set here already from before. So let's run it using the breakpoint. Click run. And N, it's a rainy day in November, whatever. Okay, so now we have this. Oh, this is too long of a phrase, but anyway, that's okay. So we can scoot this over here while we're doing this, and so we're about to execute. This is the input line. It's the whole thing. And we are about to execute this first character statement. So let's execute it. Okay, now we have a variable called first character. It's equal to n. That's the first n. And then we're going to execute phrase. And now we have phrase is equal to just it's a rainy day in November. It's input line starting at character number 2, all the way here. And so that's what phrase is. So so phrase is now a variable that's here. And now we're going to start up a new variable called count, and we're going to set it equal to 0. See, we're on line 7 here. See, we're about to execute line 7. Let's execute it. Boom, now it's executed. So we have a new variable here called count, and it's set equal to 0. And now we're going to loop through this thing, and what this first for loop is going to do is it's going to take the first character of phrase and put it in a variable called C. So this is the first character, this I right here, that's the first one. So I'm going to go click on this, and boom. So we have a variable called C, and it's equal to I, because it's the first character of this phrase. And now we're going to test if I is equal to the first character. I hope this works. Well, it wasn't. The first character is I, so it didn't equal. So count didn't get incremented. Okay, so now C is equal to I, and so, oh no, C isn't equal to I yet. Now C is equal to, no, I mean, C is equal to T now, because we're going IT apostrophe S space A space R A I, and once it hits N, then it's going to be, then count will increment, then it's going to go all the way through here, and it's this N and count will increment, and then it goes all the way in. And I typed in way too long of a phrase for this, but that's, so now it's, and now it's the apostrophe here, then now it's the S for it's, then now it's the space, then dun. A for a rainy day, dun, dun. And now it's another, after oh, first, I guess it's after yeah. R for rainy, dunt, dunt. A, okay, now I, and now we're on N. Okay, so N should equal to the first character. Let's see if it does. It did. So C is equal to the first character, or C is equal to the first character. So it's true. So we're down inside the if statement now. And now we're going to see count increment to 1. Okay, boom. Now count is incremented to 1, and we're back up here again. And we can click through, and we get through. Anyway, we can keep on going, and I can just do this. And it finishes up, boom, and it outputs a 3. Why did it output a 3? Did I, N, 3 N's. There's an N in rainy.
Yeah, because you make your sentence longer than other sentence. But it's good. It's good that now I understand why. If we come out just 2, then sometime I misunderstood it. But now because I saw number 3 there, I'm just like you wondering why is it 3? But now I understand because it's counting the November.
Yes, it's counting the N, because it's a lowercase n, and it's counting this N here from in, and it's counting this N here from rainy. Okay, so so the other thing that we can do is instead of using phrase and instead of hacking off the character that we're looking at and the space, we don't need to even do that. Okay, we don't need to have a separate phrase. We can just look at input line. We can look at input line. And when we're done, we subtract 1 from count, or maybe, So when we're done, we have to subtract 1 from count when we're all done. And the reason is because if we search the entire input line for instances of the character, the first match is going to be the character. See, so the character is going to get counted 1 more time because if we're going to search through the whole input line, we're going to, the first match we're going to find is the character we're looking for. Does that make sense? I'll show you. So let's run this again. And this time I'm going to use a much more reasonable phrase. Okay, so let's look at X. No, let's not look at X. Let's look at, the character can be A, and let's look at A-I-E-A, I-A, okay, there. Okay, now, if we count the number of A's in this whole thing, we're going to get 3 because we're counting this A. But we don't want to count this A, so we just subtract 1 from the count, and then that's the answer we're looking for. So we're going to count all the A's in this phrase, and then we're going to subtract 1 from it because we didn't mean to count the first one. Does that make sense? Okay, so let's step through this. So we have, I do input line this. Okay, let's look and see what non-type object starts. Where is I? Okay, let's. We have to learn how to read these error messages. Okay. So these are all line 228. These are down in the module. See, this is down in some modules. So we got to go back up to where does it start? Line 15. Ends with process.
I was thinking, do you need to rerun it? Like
Huh?
click run again?
Oh, maybe.
Yeah,
Maybe.
I think so, yes.
That's what it was. Okay, let's just try to run it up here and see what happens. I'm going to say A-I-E-A, Hawaii. There's a lot of A's. Okay, 4. Let's see, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so let's trace through this because we're going to see the count goes all the way up to 5, and then we have to subtract 1 from it because we've counted this one also. So we've got the breakpoint there. Let's start it, and it asks enter it. And so I'm going to do can't answer that. I'll just do A-I-E-A to make it easier. Okay, so the first character. Okay, so we're about to execute the this line 5. See, we're on line 5 here. About to execute line 5. So we're about to create a new variable called in character, and it's gonna have the first character. So it's gonna have this A right here. So let's run it. And now we have a variable called first character, and it's got this A here, which is from this A here. And now we're gonna set count equal to 0. And now we're gonna loop through the input line. So let's do the next one, and we have C. C is equal to A. Now C is equal to this A. Okay, do you see that it's this A and not this A? It's this A because we're looking at the whole input line. The whole input line is this whole thing here, including the A. In the previous example, we split off the phrase part by saying that phrase was equal to the input line starting with character index number 2. But this time we're just saying, let's look at the whole input line, and we'll just keep in mind that the first character is, we don't count the first one because that's the one we're looking for. And so we'll just count them all up in the line, and we'll subtract 1 from the count, and we should have it. So let's, so now it tests to see if C is equal to the first character, and it is. You know, we're looking at this character, and we're seeing if this C is equal to the first, you know, anyway, it's the same character. It's always good. So the count is going to be incremented. Now count is equal to 1. And then we're going to test for the next one. It's a space. And it's going to skip up. And then it's going to, C is now equal to the A, but it's this A. It's this A right here. And it is equal. So it gets incremented. And now count is equal to 2. Comes back up at the top. Now it's looking at the I. And now it's looking at the E. And now we're back to looking at the A again. And lo and behold, we're down here, incrementing count again. Watch this. Boom. Now count is equal to 3. And we go back up to the top. We're done with the line. So we come down here and count is equal to 3. But now we have to decrement it because in our count of 3, we included the first A here. We don't want to include that one. So that's why we subtract 1. So we subtract 1, and now count is equal to 2. And then we print out the 2 right over here. All right. Let's, so that would be 77-LAB-count-characters #main.py. So that's how you get to this one. All right, let's look at 7, 8.
Thank you so much. I'm gonna have to run.
Okay.
And then I'll be back on the rest later because I need to leave. Thank you.
Okay. All right.
I leave.
See
Yeah.
you Saturday.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye. Okay, let's do Mad Lib one. 7.8. Copy this. And let's go back over here and let us go to here and go to Teams and go to our ITS128 and create a new REPL and Python, and I'm going to name it this. Create. And so now we have a REPL, and you notice up at the top, it is 78-lab-mad-lib-loops, capital M, capital S. And we are going to start with this, start with nothing. Okay, so how does this work? Well, you're going to input, this is one of these dumb things where the user inputs apples and then 5, and it prints out something based on apples and 5. And so madlib, I'm not sure where they come up with madlib, but it's to complete a short story in unexpected and hopefully funny ways. Write a program that takes a string and an integer as input and outputs a sentence using the input values as shown in the example below. So the program repeats until the input string is quit and disregards the integer input. Okay, got it. So you need to input the 0 even though you're just quitting, I think. Okay, so basically it takes, like, for example, it says eating and then the digit, the number, and then the first thing that you entered in, a day keeps the doctor away. And so if you said shoes and 2, it's going to say eating 2 shoes a day keeps the doctor away. Okay. If you enter in quit 0, it's not going to say eating 0 quit a day. You recognize that that word is quit, and then you ignore the 0 and you just quit. Okay. So we need to first have an input that inputs this, okay? So we're gonna start out by, and I'm just gonna put up here so I remember what we're doing. Input apples space 5 and output 5, is that what it is? Well, eating 5 apples per day. Let's get this right. A day keeps the doctor away, period. Okay, so that's what we're supposed to read in this and this, and we print out this and this along with these words around it. So first let's input this input line. So I'm going to say input line equals input enter nouns, enter a plural noun and a number, I guess. And then now we want to split that, and we want to split the words. We're just going to assume it's 2 inputs, right? A string and an integer. Okay, well, I hope, can the string have, the string could have spaces in it. So I'm gonna assume the string could have a space in it. So I'm gonna go, I'll split it. Input, tokens equals input line split. And I'm going to split on white space, so I just need to do that. And so now I got all these tokens. Why does it do that? And then the number, I'm going to just say number. We're going to assume this. We're going to assume that it's entering. You're entering the user enters the data incorrectly. I'm going to say number equals tokens equals the last element in the tokens list. So I guess I got to do length of tokens -1 or something. So yeah. So tokens is going to be, it's going to be a list that's got 2 elements in it in this case. This is going to be the 0th element. This is going to be the first element. And there are 2 elements in tokens. There's 2 elements. So this is going to equal 2. And we actually want the index number 1, which is going to be the 5. Okay, so you can see how if the input line is this, and we split it into a list, we split on the space, and a list is going to have 2 elements. The first element is going to be apples, and the second element is going to be 5. That's the list. And then so tokens of 0 is apples, and tokens of 1 is 5. And so the length of tokens is 2. 2 minus 1 is 1. And so this is going to give us the 5. So number is equal to 5. And then I'm going to do the phrase. So I'm just going to say the phrase I'm going to assume that it's just one word, okay? I'm going to not be fancy. I'm going to assume it's just one word. This will still work. But I can instead do this. I can say, do they call it a phrase? Oh, they call it a string. Okay, so string equals tokens of 0, because that's this one, and number equals tokens of 1. I'm just going to put 1 there. I'm going to assume, so I'm going to say this. Assume string is just one word. And if you submit, I'm not going to submit it, but if you submit it and it turns out they tested on more than one word, then get back to me and we'll expand on this. But in the meantime, now all we have to do is say we have to output print eating number string a day keeps the doctor away. Now, one thing that I'm curious about is, do we have to take care of the plurals? I mean, if somebody enters 1, do you have to say apple? I don't think so. I got to resist making this more complicated than what it really is. So let's see if this works. Run. Run. Enter a plural noun and a number. Okay. Apples, 5. Eating 5 apples a day keeps the doctor away. Apple, 1. Eating 1 apple a day keeps the doctor away. Okay, so let's just trace through this so we can see what it looks like with the variables. And I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. And let's start out by going running it. And it's going to ask me. And I'm going to say pickles. What happened? Is it waiting for me to ask? Pickles pickles is LES 10. Okay. I wonder what happened to my original message anyway. Okay, so tokens. So now we're about to execute this line. We've got an input line. Input line equals pickles space 10. So token. So now we're going to execute this and we're going to split it. Boom. And we end up with a list tokens that's got pickles in it and 10. Pickles is the 0th element. 10 is the first element. So we're going to set string equal to the 0th one. Let's just execute that. Boom, there it is. String is equal to pickles. Now we're going to set number equal to the next one. Boom. Now we have a variable called number. Yeah, number equaling 10, string 10. And then we're going to just print this out. And so we just run this and it prints it out. All right, so for those of you at home, you can look at this on replit.com/@sign ITS128/78-LAB-MAD-LIB-loops. The LAB is capital, the M is capital, the L is capital, loops, hashtag main.py to prove to you that this works. I'm going to copy the URL and I'm going to open up a browser that is not logged into anything, my Opera browser, and I'm just going to paste that URL there. Anybody in the world can do this, and you paste it, and you see I have not signed in. I've not even signed up, but I'm here, and I can run it. Enter a plural noun and cars 50. Enter. Eating 50 carbs a day keeps the doctor away. So you can run it, and you can click on files, and you can click on main py, and there's the code. See? For all the world to see. All right, anyway, keep that in mind when you watch these videos. What time is it? 3:11. Let's do one more. So let's go to palindrome. I like palindromes. A palindrome is a word or phrase that is the same when read both forwards and backwards. Examples are Bob sees, or never, odd, or even, ignoring spaces, of course. So we say, you know, N-E-V-E-R, but over here we can go N-E-V-E-R, and anyway, so it's read the same in both directions. So we're supposed to write a program to test if it's a palindrome. Then check if the string is equivalent to its reverse. There's a reverse string in Python, isn't there? I think so. All right, so it's called palindrome. Copy this, go over to my replit. I'm going to click over here on the files. I'm going to click on Teams. I'm saying this mostly to remind myself. I'm going to click on my ITS128 here, and now I'm going to create a team REPL, and it's going to be a Python REPL, and I'm going to paste a palindrome, the title of this lab, and I'm going to click create. And this is just supposed to test if a string is a palindrome. And I'm going to use the reverse function, so I got to find out what that is. Python string reverse. Isn't there just a method to do it? Oh, this is how you do it. Aha, of course. I do this. Who would have known? All right, so I'm going to do it that way. So, okay, so first I got to read something in. First I got to read in a string. In string, equals input, enter a string. And then I want to say rev string equals in string. Start from the beginning, go to the end, but go in reverse. Okay, remember that from yesterday or last time? When you have nothing, okay, so there's 3 colons, there's 3 fields. There's the first field, there's a second field, there's a third field. Fields are separated by colons. This is inside the indexing thing for a string. We're indexing a string. We're indexing characters of the string. So the first parameter is nothing, which means if it's nothing, it defaults to the first character of the string. The second parameter is also nothing. If it's a second character and it's nothing, it means it defaults to the last character of the string. This is called the what is it called? Stroll or the pace or something. It's whether you're going to go one by one. Default is 1, so you're just starting with the first character and going left to right, character, next character, next character, next character. If it's a 2, then you're going left to right, skipping every other character. If it's a -1, it means you're going right to left, 1 character at a time. If it's -2, it would be every other character starting at the top and going down from right to left. So this should reverse the string. And then all I got to do is test to see if this same. If in string equals reverse string. In fact, I don't even need to create another variable, but I'm just doing it so we can look at it. If it's true, then you say print in string is a palindrome. Whatever. Else print in string isn't a palindrome. Okay, and you of course are going to have to make it print out like it's supposed to, but I think this is all we got to do actually. Well, let's do this. Let's debugger it. So I'm going to put a breakpoint here. So let's run, enter a string, and I'm going to say, what are some good palindromes? Oh, I got to take out the spaces, don't I? How do I take out the spaces? I guess I got to take out the spaces first. Forgot about that. Stop. String no space equals start out by equal nothing, and then I'm going to do for character in string if character is not equal to a blank, then string no space character gets added onto the end of string no space if it's not equal to a space. If it's equal to space, it doesn't get added onto the thing. Okay, so now I've got a new in string, string no space. So string no space is not what I want to use. So reverse string equals string no space. Okay, so let's put the breakpoint back up. Let's get rid of this breakpoint. Okay, all right. So let's run this. run. Enter a string. Am I ready to enter a string? I gotta find a nice palindrome. Palindromes. What's a nice palindrome? What are some good palindromes? No, just palindromes, just give me a palindrome. Okay. All right, here's one. A nut for O. A nut for a jar of tuna. A nut for a jar of tuna. Okay. A nut for a jar of tuna. All right. Okay. So first thing that happens is we have an input string that said an in string that says a nut for a jar of tuna. Then we're going to go string no space is blank, and then we're going to click through this, and we're going to if we're going to go through each character in a string, a nut for a jar of tuna. We're going to go through each character, and we're starting with A. And if it's not a space, it's going to get appended onto the string no space. So let's just step through this. There's A, and space is not going to get appended. See, the next one is N. N does get appended. U gets appended. And we go through all these one at a time. Let's set a new breakpoint to here. Let's set this breakpoint. And so this executes all the rest of the for loop. Let's go ahead and go to the next breakpoint. Boom, there we are. So now we have string no spaces this. See, we took all the spaces out. We built up a new string called string no space, and we see that it's actually in string, but without any of the spaces. Okay, so now we got this great string no space thing, and we can continue to step through where we're on line 7. So we're about to figure out what the reverse string is. Well, this isn't going to be any fun because it's just going to be the same because we already know it's but here we go. So now we executed reverse string. Reverse string is the reverse of string no space, and look, they're the same. So it's a palindrome. So let's try a smaller one. Taco cat. Let's try another one here. What time is it? Oh, we can try another one. What time is it? Where are we? In acronyms. You know what? I think I'm just going to go on to the next one because I think we can maybe get through all these. But anyway, you can step through this and try other things and convince yourself that it works. Okay, let's go to the next one. Acronyms. Oh, okay. So in this one, we're going to read a bunch of words, and if a word begins with lowercase, it's not included in the acronym. Otherwise, there will be at least one uppercase letter in the input. Okay, so for example, this organization here, I just happen to join this organization, should come out IEEE, IEEE. Okay, so we're going to read that in and make an acronym. So I'm going to copy this, over here, and over here, and Teams, and ITS128, and create a new REPL, and this one, and I'm going to call it this, and create REPL. So the name, you can go to this URL, https://repl.com /ITS128/710-LAB capitalized -acronyms A #main.py. And let's start. Read read title of organism. Read title and make acronym. Using capitalized words only. Okay, so first let's read it in. I'll call it title. Title equals input, enter title of or whatever. And okay, so now first thing I want to do is I want to split it up into the words. So that's easy. Words equals title split, just like that. That's easy. And then, why does it do that? And then we have to go through one word at a time, starting from the beginning. And yeah, that'll work. Yes, Josie, that'll work. You probably said that to me a long time ago. Oh no, just okay. So then we're going to go one word at a time, and if the first letter of that word is capitalized, we're gonna add it to our acronym as we're going to build the acronym. We're going to add it to the acronym. If the first letter of the word is not capitalized, we will not add it to the acronym. So let's start by making an acronym. And we're going to set it starting equal to nothing. And then we're going to go for word in words. So we're going to go through all the words in words. And we're going to check to see if the first letter is capitalized. Let's see. If, well, I'm going to say first letter, just because I want to be one step at a time, is word. That's the first letter of word. And then I'm going to say if first letter I wonder what it is upper. Is upper. Is upper, okay. I supper. Okay. I supper. Colon. If it's uppercase, then add it to the, and then append it to the end of the acronym. Variable ACRONYM. Plus equals first letter. And I think that's all we've got to do. Print acronym. Okay, so let's see how this works when we run it. I'm going to put a breakpoint right here. So I'm going to hit debugger and I'm going to run. And the first thing it says is enter the title of the organization. And let's see, I'm going to say Institute of Electrical and Electronic Engineers. And we've got a title, you can see here. And let's go, and we're about to execute, we're on line 4, so we're about to execute where's my breakpoint? We're about to execute line 4. So let's execute it. And so now we have a words array, and look at the words array. It's got institute and of and electrical and electronic engineers. And so we should take the I and the E and the E and the E, and we should skip the O and the A because those are lowercase. So let's, what's next? We execute acronym, and now we've got a variable called acronym, which is empty. And then we're going to do 4 loops. So we're going to do that. And now we have a variable called word, and it's the first word of this array. And we're going to bust off the first character, and there it is. The first letter is the capital I. And if it's uppercase, we should see the next. If it's uppercase, then it's true. Then the next line to execute should be line 9. So, boom, it's line 9. And we have first letter, so it's true. Let's see more. So we're at line 9. Let's execute line 9. And now acronym is equal. We've set that, and it goes back up, and it's going to get the next word, and it's the next word is of, and is O. First letter is O, lowercase o. We don't attach it to acronym. We go back up to here, get the next word, and it's electrical, and the first letter is capital E, and so it's true. So we go down to this acronym statement, and we're going to execute that, and we should see acronym get an E attached to it. All right, so we can go all the way to, let's put a breakpoint here. And we can execute to the breakpoints, and we see that the acronym is filled up with IEEE, and we're about to print. There it is. All right. Okay. Well, it's 3:30, and it's the end, right? Yes. So I will. This is the last class for this week, but feel free to come on Saturday at 1:30. And I don't record Saturday, but you can. Okay, I can set you so you can record your own local version of what happens on Saturday. But I won't be recording them and posting them up on the internet. So we can talk more freely. It's not really, but people in the conversation can record, but otherwise not. So, all right. Are there any questions? Hearing none, I will see you on Saturday maybe, or next week. Thanks for watching.